I'm a little fired up today. I don't get fired up too often, but today is one of those days. I just got back trying to go to an estate sale locally, and I get there and I see this whiteboard that has a list of like 10 rules written on it on the porch. And one of the rules is no dogs and no children. I think that was the fourth rule on the board, written real large. And sort of our Saturday morning ritual is get up, take the two kids, 9 and 7, to yard sales, estate sales, have a good time. Get them interested in what I'm doing, spend some good time together. Anyway, so we get there. The lady at the door says, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's no kids." And I said, "Okay, well, we go to estate sales every weekend. Like, they know how to act. I'll be with them. Can they just come in?" She's like, "Oh, I just work here. Let me get the manager." So the manager comes out. She's like, "No, there's no estate sales. It says it in the in the description." I said, "Well, I looked on estatesales.net. I didn't see it." So I pull up estatesales.net in the description of the sale, nothing. She's like, "Oh, well, you got to go to the terms and conditions." And right there in the terms and conditions, it says no children. That was the first thing. But who looks at terms and conditions? Even if that's the case, I was like, okay, well, I promise you, these kids, we do it. We've been to hundreds of sales. They know how to act. If they break something, which they're not going to, I'll buy it. Like, no big deal. "Oh, no, sorry, we can't." Her solution was, well, they can just sit here on the porch. So that they were sitting on the steps, and I was like, "Well, are you guys comfortable with that?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's fine." And then she had to move to the side so they're not blocking the steps. Here's her solution. Look at this. I don't know if you could see this. Here's my son's pants. Ridiculous. That's how dirty these steps were and wet. So her idea is to have kids sit on wet steps. Hey, what makes her estate sales so amazing, so superior that kids can't be allowed in there? I mean, I understand you don't want kids getting broke. This wasn't like there was Tiffany stuff everywhere and Lalique and all this stuff. It was just a run-of-the-mill estate sale. So what makes hers so special that no one could be there? And just ridiculous. Got me fired up. I understand saying like, "Hey, unattended kids, or like kids must be attended at all times. Unattended kids will be asked to leave." Okay, I see that, but this lady was out of control. So then I shouldn't have. I did. I said, "All right, guys, you just sit there. I'll be 2 seconds." So I just went in, literally 2 seconds. Looked at a few things. My whole idea was I was gonna buy rake spares. They had like 20 of them. I was gonna buy all of them and see what else they had. But anyway, they once that happened, I was like, "I'm not buying anything." So I go in there to tell her, I was like, "I would have bought all these bears. I don't understand your issue." And she's like, "Well, if you don't like it, you're free to leave." I was like, Well, if I'm free to leave, I'm free to stay." She's like, "Well, not if," she got all upset. I was like, "No, I'm free to stay. I'm not doing anything." I was like, "Your rules are ridiculous." So, Islander Antiquities in Poquoson, Virginia. If you ever have an estate sale there, don't go. I'm never going again. That was the first one. It was terrible. Hurricane prices. That was another thing. This was the third day of a 3-day sale. The house was packed. It didn't look like they sold anything. They had They're half off. Everything was half off, and even the half off prices were ridiculous. So, terrible thing. If you have an estate, do not use Islander Antiquities. Terrible. The worst estate place I've ever had. They have way too much. They think they're way too superior to have. And she said, "Oh, well, we've had issues in the past." I was like, "Okay, well, that's not my fault. Like, make an exception. If I'm telling you, hey, if you see two well-behaved kids with me, they're not gonna be running around. We do it every weekend." I told her all this. "And if they break something, I'll buy it," which they're not going to. I told her that. Ridiculous. So let me hear your thoughts. Do you think kids should be allowed in estate sales? Like I said, I've gone to hundreds with my kids. I've never had an issue. This is the first one that I said no kids. And I imagine even if it was a common practice, if I talk to them, say, hey, they're with me, we do this all the time, let's just, make an exception, they'll be on their best behavior. Just say, okay, come on in, guys. We normally don't do it, but come on in. But no, she stuck by her guns, which was ridiculous. Leave a comment below. What do you think? What are your opinions on kids at estate sales? Yeah, she ruined just a perfect family outing. Ridiculous. Not anything I'll ever go to again. Definitely. Please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I'm very anxious to hear your thoughts. Thanks.